The newest HSBC building stands proud and tall, watching over Hong Kong. Designed by Sir Norman Foster and built in 1985, it is a strong icon of power and stability in Hong Kong's economy. Thomas Sutherland founded the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, or HSBC as it is more commonly known, back in 1865 when Hong Kong was still under British rule. The building was known as Wardley House, used as HSBC offices between 1865 to 1882. HSBC was the only major banking corporation at the time, taking dominance over the smaller private banks. The only big difference between the first building and the second was that it was divided into two separate structures. In 1935, the second building was demolished and the third building was built. The third design used part of the land of the old City Hall, and during the Japanese occupation, it served as government headquarters. It was the first building in Hong Kong to be fully air-conditioned. HSBC was falling to pieces because their offices were scattered all around Hong Kong, their market shares were decreasing rapidly, and a solution was needed. HSBC tore down its third building in 1978 and built the current building in 1985. People were leaving Hong Kong at around 48,000 per year because of the uncertainty of the handover in 1997. During this time, Hong Kong hit an all-time low in their exchange rate with the US dollar. Dropping down to $1 would equal 9.6 Hong Kong dollars. HSBC helped a lot with this situation known as Black Saturday. The famous lines of HSBC are named after two chief managers of HSBC, Alexander Stephen and Gordon Stitt. Alexander Stephen got the idea to put the lines there from a great stone lion guarding the gates in Venice, as well as the ones outside HSBC in Shanghai. They are believed to bring protection to the bank and Hong Kong, as well as also wealth and fortune. You are said to receive these if you rub their paws. Although the official entrance to HSBC is 1 Queen's Road Central, the lines are placed on 23 DeVoe Road, which is more commonly used as an entrance. These bullet holes that you see before you are the result of extreme fighting during the start of the Japanese occupation when the British were still fighting for Hong Kong. When the British surrendered, they were sold to the Japanese as scrap metal, and they were lost to HSBC in Hong Kong for several years, until an American sailor spotted them in a Japanese dock and they were brought back to Hong Kong. Now they stand there proudly watching over Hong Kong as a symbol of protection and history.
Well, I think we participate in a lot of cultural activities, especially through the HSBC Foundation.
Well, first of all, HSBC, as you know, as the name suggests, the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation has very much its roots in Hong Kong and in Shanghai. So it's very much as an Asian and Greater China heritage.
It's always very hard to tell how important these functions are, but I think it is helpful having people who share common values and have a common understanding about what we're trying to do as a bank and can really help, I suppose, share that culture with new countries, new companies that we acquire. I think it's very difficult if you're running such a big organization to really have a common culture and common values, and that's a challenge that a lot of sort of multinational organizations face. So I think it is a useful function from that perspective.
Yeah. So, how much effect does HSBC really have on Hong Kong? Well, since HSBC controls almost 70% of the Hong Kong economy by issuing 67.7% of Hong Kong's yearly banknotes over Bank of China and Standard Chartered, that renders them pretty powerful. They also control 62.1% of interest over Hang Seng Bank. So, if we didn't have HSBC, not only would Hong Kong's economy collapse, but a lot of Asia's and possibly the world's. HSBC is essential to us because it provides the everyday money that we use for food, water, housing, and the basic necessities for life. So, there you have it, the basic history and culture of HSBC.